Hi and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome to Heatherroseup. I am Heather. This is my channel where I document my weight loss journey while following WW. If you'd like to see how I did with my toddler goal that I made for myself last week, keep watching. Hi guys, happy Tuesday. I am so sleepy from yesterday and tired from a full day of playing with my kids. If you didn't see last week's video, check it out up here. We did a graduation celebration for my son and my daughter, and they had some not so point-friendly foods planned that they had requested that we made. And my goal that I made for myself last week, which was my toddler goal, was to pre-track every day, and I have been doing that since that day, Friday. I started Friday and I've been going strong every day, and I did pre-track. And I knew that yesterday was going to be a point heavy day, so I saved my weeklies through the weekend. Friday, I ended the day with a blue dot, got 4 rollovers on a Friday, which I can't remember I don't think I've ever done 4 rollovers on a Friday. Saturday I got a blue dot. Sunday I did not, but I continued to track, and I started Monday with 36 weeklies. Last Monday, I think I was at 8. So huge difference of actually paying attention to what I was eating, planning what I was eating. So I did this intentionally so I can have extra weeklies for Monday. Yesterday, when I planned my ribs, the ice cream cake, which made me sick, by the way, because it was too much sugar, and because if you're not familiar with my journey, I have had gastric bypass 11 years ago. Experience regain, that's why I'm on WW. Again, I'll get into my why with another video. But anyway, sometimes if I have too much sugar, it makes me sick. So that's going to make me want to stay away from that ice cream cake going forward, hopefully. Anyway, I'm all over the place because I have a lot of information to tell because I was accomplishing goals this weekend. So I saved my weeklies for yesterday. I pre-tracked yesterday, and I was going to end the day with -8 weeklies, which was fine. That's what was my goal. It goes with my goal, and I was staying within my plan for the week. I actually didn't eat everything that I had planned on eating because there was so many activities going around. I played tag with my kids. I played tag in the backyard with my kids, and that felt amazing to enjoy the physical activities with my kids. So I didn't eat everything that I had planned on eating, and I ended the day with 16 weekly smart points. That's with eating ribs, having a pre-planned out portion of chips, and ice cream cake. Last week, I followed the plan, but I wasn't intentional with my food. I wasn't planning my food, so I just ate and tracked as I went. This time I planned ahead, I tracked ahead. I ate indulgent foods, but I'm with more weeklies today than I was at this point this week than I was last week. And I'm honestly, I keep thinking about it. I'm a little mind blown with how a couple small intentional steps can make a huge difference. And I got my water in every day this week. Minus yesterday, I was exhausted, and I had just under the 48 ounces. Considering the work that I put into this weekend, I'm okay with that. I pre-tracked my day today, and I should end the week with 8 weekly smart points on a Tuesday after having an indulgent Monday. So I feel really good about my choices, and I probably won't check in every day because this is already long-winded. So I may not update each day, but I will kind of fill you in as the days go by. So I will check back in at some point and let you know how the rest of this week is going. So keep watching. Wednesday. So yesterday I ended the day, I had planned on ending the day with 8 weeklies, and I ended up ending the day with 10 weeklies. So I did not use all of my weeklies like I had planned, and that's part of what I was talking about being flexible with my pre-tracking. So that's going really well. I also wanted to mention that I am, like I mentioned in last week's video, I am scheduling my snacks, and I think that's part of the reason why, because multiple times I have stopped myself from grazing and said, okay, well, snack time's in a few more minutes, so let's just hold off. And then a couple times I forgot about it. Started Wednesday with 10 weeklies. Well, because of my intentional pre-tracking. And yesterday I even had leftovers for lunch, which was ribs, a little point heavy, but I planned for it. Yesterday for dinner, my dinner was a little bit more point heavy because I haven't been able to find my fat-free cheddar for weeks now, but I planned for it. So I'm feeling really good about my choices, and I'm thinking I might not end the week in the negative. I don't want to push myself too much here, but I also wanted to mention that I am thinking about joining Felicia Keepley's diet bet. And I might regret that, and I might not. I'm not a huge fan of the idea of the diet bet, but I think it's good for motivation to kind of give you that push. And it's not diet. You can use whatever healthy lifestyle you want. I think that's why I'm not a fan of it. I don't like the name. But Felicia, she's well known on YouTube and on Instagram. She is a WW ambassador. I admire her, and she is very involved in her diet bets. I've never joined one, so I think I'm gonna do it. I also bought a fitness tracker online yesterday. It should be here in a couple days. I ended up getting a Garmin Vivo Fit, so it is a smartwatch, much like the Fitbit Versa, and it's really cute. I'll check back in at some point and let you know how I'm doing. Hi guys, happy Thursday. I am getting ready to go grocery shopping, which by the way, I am going to be filming a grocery haul, so stay tuned for that. Actually, by the time you see this, it should have already been posted. My plan was to post it on Saturday. Anyway, I ended the day yesterday with 6 weekly Smart Points, and I pre-tracked my day out today, and I should end the week with 2 weekly Smart Points. As I mentioned earlier in this video, and in last week's video, my goal was to go no further than -15. So I'm staying on plan even with an indulgent day, which was Monday. This is really helping me realize how I really wasn't paying attention to what I was eating and planning ahead. Planning ahead is key for me. Pre-tracking really does help me with staying on plan, and this week was a big reminder with that. So I will check back in tomorrow with my weigh-in and my workshop and reflect on my week. I did weigh in today and I haven't seen a change, but I am okay with that because I know I'm making big changes this week. So stay tuned. Happy Friday. I went to my workshop this morning, I weighed in this morning, and I want to do some reflecting on how things went this week. As you saw throughout the week, I did accomplish my goal of tracking. I pre-tracked every day, and my goal was to, again, go no further than -15 weeklies, and I ended my week with 2 weeklies left over. I also almost accomplished my 48 ounce a day of water goal, coming in a little shy 2 days. To keep track of these goals throughout the week, I used my whiteboard method, and I will insert a picture of that in the beginning of the week and how I tracked. You can kind of pause it and see how I was tracking things and scheduling my snacks even. So basically it seems like the theme of my week this past week has been pre-tracking. Throughout the week I kept thinking about how I was tracking for the past few weeks, but in all honesty, I wasn't being mindful, I wasn't planning, and I found that it made it become a bit of a struggle. That's why my goal in the past few weeks was to not go further than a certain amount of weeklies into the negative because I was struggling with staying on plan. And that's okay. I realized that my goal during that time was to basically maintain my weight, and I did give or take a couple pounds. maintain during that time. Last week when I did make my goal to pre-track, at some point between last Friday and maybe Monday or Tuesday, I really decided that I want to lose weight. Okay, let me rephrase that in Oprah's words. I have decided to lose weight. Not I want to, not I will try to, but I have decided to lose weight again. And in order to do that, I know I have to stay on plan, not go into the negative in my weeklies. Each day as I was pre-tracking my day out, I was really reminded of how each time in this journey, since I started WW, again, I started WW in February of 2019, but each time that I had the most success, and by success, I mean, yes, by the scale. The past few months, I definitely have seen a lot of success in my mindset, but again, I'm going to lose weight now. And the success that I've had in the past with losing weight has been when I pre-track. It is the tip that I learned in one of my workshops that I have found that really helps me with staying on plan, which in turn leads to weight loss. The past few weeks when I was tracking, just tracking as I went, I didn't have room for the indulgent foods because I was eating a lot of food throughout the day without actually having a plan. So I never actually got a chance to plan in those indulgent foods. So I also felt deprived at times. Whereas this week when I did plan the indulgent foods, the ice cream cake, the ribs, the chips, etc., I planned those on that day. I tracked those foods first with portion size. I portioned them out throughout the day, and then I planned the rest of my foods around those because it was important to me to share those with my family that day. If I wasn't pre-tracking, I would have gone well over my daily point allowance and probably would have dipped into the negative in my weeklies on that day alone. I have felt more in control this week than I have in months. So every day when I woke up in the morning, I would plan out my day, I would pre-track, and it literally took me less than 5 minutes each day, and throughout the week and throughout each day, it ended up giving me a lot more extra time and freedom in the long run. This week I remembered that pre-tracking and honest tracking does not equal perfect tracking. Yesterday I had salmon, which was in a marinade, and salmon on blue is 0 points. Asparagus, which is what I had with it, on blue is 0 points, but the marinade was technically, depending on how much you used, was 2 points, but I didn't actually use it all. I was overthinking it. And then I said, you know what, I'm just gonna track it as 2 and call it a day. That was honest tracking. I wasn't going to overdo it. I wasn't going to overthink it and become stressed out over salmon marinade. I tracked it and I moved on. So if you are going to try to pre-track, don't get hung up on if you're tracking perfectly or if you're 100% accurate, because you're not going to be. Just do your best to track as honestly as you can. Sometimes you can't always measure. When you have the tools to do so, measure it. I also remembered that with pre-tracking, I have to be flexible. Each day that I pre-tracked this past week, I had to swap certain things out because either I just didn't want to eat that and I wanted something else, and I was like, okay, well, let me find something that's equal in point value and have that instead. I did that multiple times this week, but it was still part of my pre-tracking. The pre-tracking was basically just to get an idea of how I was going to eat and how many points I was going to use throughout the day. And I didn't always use the points that I tracked each day either. So I'm sharing how these things went and really stressing on the pre-tracking to share with others, to share with you, my viewers, what has worked for me in the past, but also for me to literally look back on and refer to when I'm struggling again in the future, because there's always peaks and valleys, and I will at one point need to remember that this is what helps me get through what I need to get through, which is why I named this video and why I chose the thumbnail for this video for my own reference. Whatever works. I'm hoping that will work in the future. I didn't talk about how I did with my weigh-in. I'm sure you could tell by my mood. I had a good week when it came to the scale. I weighed in at 191.2, which means I lost 2.6 pounds this week. And I'm pretty sure that's the most I've lost in a single week during this whole quarantine. I put in the work and I saw results, and I know if I'm consistent with this method that I will continue to see results. Goals for next week. Now, because I lost weight again, I'm back down to only 35 weeklies, but I'm gonna roll with it. Remember, I've decided that I'm going to lose weight, which means my goal is to stay on plan. I know my tool that will help make that easy. That pre-tracking is still a toddler step, and it helps me break it down day by day to take a bigger step. So my goal is to pre-track every day and to stay on plan. In addition to continuing the 48 ounces of water a day, and my new baby step to work in some activity, because I got my new activity tracker, which I've been using it for a couple of hours now and I love it so far. I'll keep you posted on if I really like it. Tangent, my baby step goal for next week, and I mentioned it in my workshop today because another member has been inspiring me with her activity that she's been keeping up on. If you're watching this, my goal is to utilize the Fit On portion of the WW app. I'm going to do one workout. That's it. No pressure to do anything else. Not run a marathon. Not going to do couch to 5K yet. But to do one Fit On workout this week. Recap. Pre-tracking, staying on plan, 48 ounces of water, one Fit On. Let me know what your goals are for this week. I would love to hear them in the comment section below. Have you decided that maybe you want to pre-track? Let me know, and then maybe we can hold each other accountable. Feel free to send me an email. I've loved the comments and questions that I've received so far. If you did find this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to hit the subscribe and the notification bell so you can continue to follow along on my weight loss journey. I upload a new update every week, every Sunday at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I hope you have a great week. And don't forget, when you're planning out your goals, don't forget to say, I have decided. Now, I will, I want to, I will try, I have decided. See you in my next video. Bye, guys.